I'm reading this book titled Ghost on the Throne, about the power struggle that took place after the death of Alexander the Great. They talk of all the lands that were being fought for after Alexander's conquest, and it sure is inspiring. I want to conquer the known world, I found myself thinking. He didn't have many role models, as he was early in history. So he took his inspiration from Hercules and Achilles from Greek myth, fashioning himself into a god. Down the line though, Alexander found himself as an inspiration to Julius Caesar, who wept upon seeing a statue of him. Caesar realized that by his age, Alexander had already conquered the world, and he had done nothing worth remembering. Many centuries later, Napoleon would look to the example of Julius Caesar on how to become an emperor. All this conquering and victoriousness and overcoming peoples and all of these things sounds crazy, but then I continue thinking, yes, that all sounds fantastic. I would like to be a king like those guys, except I'd be a good king. They all think they're the good king, don't they? If I were in charge, I'd like to rule like Cyrus, who was kind. But then I ask myself, why would I even want this? Then I go to Paul Atreides in Dune, known as the Emperor Muad'Dib, and how realistically, the thing I enjoy most about those books are the collected sayings of Muad'Dib. I like hearing the little pieces of wisdom and philosophy from people in positions of power. I want power so that I can get wisdom from that position. I want power so that even if someone disagrees with me, they can't say that my ideas are just theory. They have to look at them and say, my philosophy came from practicality, not airy-fairy ideas. But then in the midst of this train of thought, I remember the Tao. Then I remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Alexander and Caesar and Pompey. He was reminiscing on those who came before him. Nothing but anxiety and enslavement. The Emperor of Rome was thinking of them because he found himself having similar thoughts. Upon deeper inspection though, he realized what we should really work for wasn't to become a great conqueror, but to have proper understanding, unselfish action, truthful speech, a resolve to accept whatever happens. Meaning if you're destined for great conquest, cool. But don't force it. Don't force anything. Follow the path fate has for you, as God's will be done. If you're fighting with force, you'll find yourself paranoid, anxious, fighting enemies on all fronts, outside your kingdom and from within. Anxiety and enslavement, Marcus reminds himself. Those great men were slaves to their ego. They could never rest properly. Instead, if you find yourself called to leadership, aim to do it in such a way that is for the good of your fellow people. The Tao Te Ching says when the master governs, people are hardly aware that he exists. Doesn't that sound nice? When the master's work is done, the people say, amazing, we did it, all by ourselves. The true master empowers others. The more powerful a nation grows, the Tao reminds us, the greater the need for humility. Humility means trusting the Tao. By trusting the Tao, it's exactly what Marcus Aurelius was saying when he said to hand yourself over to Clotho voluntarily and let her spin you into whatever she pleases. That is how you can lead without anxiety and without becoming a slave. Straight, not straightened.